Kia ora. Welcome to Neat and Not by the Sea, coming to you from Koputai, New Zealand. My name is Catherine and my pronouns are she, her.
And my name's Victoria, my pronouns are also she, her.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. Are you going to...
Oh no, so this is...
There's some more to say.
Oh, is there? Okay, so episode 40 we think, and today is the 10th of November.
Yes. Hi, it's a Thursday.
Yes.
Our normal day. So, hi, we're back on track.
Yeah, we're back on track. We're hoping to kind of be back on track. We'll see how that goes.
So I'm good. So since last time we saw you, Catherine and I caught up and went to see the Dunedin Embroiderers Guild exhibition at the Dunedin Community Gallery.
Yeah.
And some amazing pieces
It was
there.
very good.
Like, you weren't allowed to take photos, but there were so many bits that I want to do.
Oh, see, I didn't get the vibe that I want to do so many things. You're
I did.
You're very easily influenced.
Oh, yes. Doesn't take much at all.
The workmanship was very high standards. Although I particularly liked one of the children's projects because it was French knots in like dozens of colours. It was great.
It was a beautiful piece. It was a circular piece, and they were like really densely put at the bottom, and then they sort of faded up to be less and less dense. It was gorgeous.
It was like it was probably pearl cotton, so it was quite chunky knots in really vibrant colours. It was just a little hoop by a child. I didn't take in the age or anything, but it was lovely. But there were some other projects that were really, really beautiful.
That's amazing stuff.
And I don't know if you pointed it out to me, but we saw the etui that I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And
from the Inspirations book,
yeah.
Helping Hands.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And you may have noticed that that project is on pause at the moment, and it's on pause because I don't like the gold. So the very first step was I did all the gold outlines that we were supposed to, because I wanted to make sure that it would fit nicely in my linen. I hate the gold, and I had made a mistake with a stitch. I realized that after. So I can either fix the stitching, which is not a big deal, or take the opportunity to do it in a different color. And it was really nice to see that etui in the exhibition, because the person there had not used gold thread. They had just used a different thread, and they had used quite a muted color, maybe a cream. I'm going to use, I don't know, turquoise.
The colour they used really matched their fabric, I thought. It didn't stand out at all.
Yeah, it didn't. It was more of a texture than a shiny, bright, garish colour, which is what I will choose.
Because it's more of a guide outline, isn't it, of the shape?
Yeah,
rather
it's
than...
kind of a guide of where the bends are, where the creases of the little coffer are. So I'm excited. I was excited about it, and then I went home and I forgot about it. But it was very lovely.
And there were some amazing original pieces. The overall winner was a beautiful, what do you call it, stump work? I think it was a stump work sunflowers. I think it had been inspired by Van Gogh.
The overall winner?
That was the overall winner.
Oh, I didn't realise.
It was, what, maybe that big?
Oh,
and
it was a bit bigger. It was a bit bigger. It was like...
I can't remember, it was 2 weeks ago. It was gorgeous. It was sunflowers, and I think when they were stitching it, she'd called it for Ukraine or something, because of course sunflowers are their
the flower of Ukraine.
National flower. It was just a stunning piece.
What was my favourite? I liked elements of them because, of course, I'll have to be contrary. Most things I think were from a pattern. So I like things that are a bit random and sort of imagined rather than following a pattern. Having said that, I can really appreciate the workmanship. People, they were not eating chocolate whilst they stitched.
No, I didn't see any chocolate. I was looking at all my pieces and like, oh yeah, that's that chocolate, that's that chocolate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chocolate on my pieces.
And it was really lovely because a couple of people that had things on the exhibition I knew. So, for example, Aggie, I'd not seen her work. Aggie, I don't think you watch, but if you watch, hello.
Your pieces were amazing.
Your pieces were really amazing.
She won some hardware.
And what does that mean?
So I went to the prize giving, which was on the Monday night.
Who is this person that's so sociable and things?
There were like different groups had different winners, and different categories, had different winners. And they were winning things like silver trays and candlesticks. It was like the whole murder weapon repertoire from Cluedo. Clue.
Okay. Is that for a fact, or you just like...
There were big silver trays.
Right.
There were silver cups. There were silver spoons. There were silver
So do you think it was a Cluedo thing?
No,
Okay.
it's a prize-giving
I
thing.
don't know.
But if you play
Why
Cluedo...
not? I don't play Cluedo. Do I look like I play Cluedo?
Cluedo's like who, where, and with what. Who killed who with what, where, and how.
Okay.
It's a great game.
I don't do board games. Like Murder, She Wrote.
Love that show. Oh,
She passed away.
Rip Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, she passed away.
Mrs.
I
Potts
remember
from Beauty
watching-
and the Beast.
I remember, I don't remember that, but because I never watched it, but I do remember Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Watching it in the afternoons after coming home from lectures at the university when I was doing my first degree.
She had so many relatives.
Did she?
Yeah, because it was always her nephew who was getting into trouble, or her
Oh, really?
cousins
Oh, okay.
twice removed.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that.
She was also in Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, which is another great movie.
Anyway,
Bopping along.
she passed away, but a long life, I think.
Yeah.
So that was good.
She was amazing. I was reading...
Getting sidetracked here.
She wasn't amazing, but I was reading something after her death that I hadn't realised, that when she was doing Murder, She Wrote, which, I mean, it went for like 11 seasons, so it must have been very successful in its time. And hell, I have the DVD, so it's successful after its time. She would hire a lot of actors and actresses who had aged out and who weren't getting the big roles anymore, so that they could keep their union membership, which gave them dental and medical.
Aww.
Isn't that cool?
That's great. Which reminds me, another side thing. I was reading about Dolly Parton and how amazing she is. Dolly Parton seems to be a good egg.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good legacy, isn't it? You were a decent person and you helped people.
Yeah, she's Dolly Parton from... I mean, this is all stuff that I've read on the internet, so it's as true and factual as the internet is, right? So,
Yeah.
please forgive us if I'm spouting out shit. But she's one of these people that does a whole lot of things and is not looking for recognition. Like,
That's
she's
right,
given away,
that's
like,
right.
how many millions of books and...
Well, I think last time, before this thing, I heard that she was paying for all her employees' college education. There was a fund so that they could go to college on the Dolly Parton dollar. So that sounds great.
Yeah.
But then there was something about how much money she made from one of her songs that Whitney Houston sang.
Oh,
So she used that money. I say, I will always love you.
Yeah, that one,
I know
think.
nothing about pop culture, so this is all from
Great
Instagram.
songs.
I don't know the facts, but anyway, she bought a building in a rundown part of a city in America, and I don't know the name, forgotten. But it was a black area. It was a black area that had no funding and no support, with lots of unemployment. And she thought, well, Whitney made this possible. I thought, that's so cute. Like, good work,
Yeah.
right?
No, she's done some great stuff.
Because, how much money do we need? Not a lot. Anyway, going back to Aggie's work was great.
Sorry, if this is your first time, we go on tangents.
Yeah, we do go on tangents. But it was very lovely. And the interesting thing for me was, because, the boring saga of Catherine is too shy to do anything, we arrived and we had such a lovely chat with the two women I had such a lovely chat with the two women at the desk. Because, of course, there was the fiasco of never having cash. Because I'd forgotten that it was with Koha, which is a donation in New Zealand. And I was like, so it was like the rummaging happened. I was like, I found money. And then they had to give us change because it was a note. Well, they didn't have to. I asked for change. And we went with our friend Diana, who's not crafty, but she was quite inspired.
She was very inspired, yeah.
But it's so funny because, none of these things are impossible to achieve. Because you can't start with like stump work, but you can start, start with French knots. But anyway, she was so impressed. She was like, wow, people are amazing.
And you met friend of the show, Amy, who I had met previously through some of the classes I'm doing.
That's right.
And
yes.
Message. So hello, Amy.
Hello, Amy. Yeah, it was good to meet someone in person that watches us. And she said a lovely thing, and I was like, I love hearing that. Because I am modesty personified.
Yeah. She knows her from the telly. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
she
right.
said. It was great.
And I was like trying to keep my cool by saying, oh my God, I love that. But yeah, it was really lovely. And I think I'm going to brace myself mentally. I'm gonna go to therapy, see if I can join the guild.
You should.
I probably won't. But Victoria's having a jolly time.
I'm having a great time.
You're meeting lots of people now.
Yeah.
You've met people that I know from the university that now say, oh yeah, we know Catherine.
Yeah, Dunedin's really small.
Yes.
So
So that was super lovely. Although we didn't have enough time, we're going to plan a better outing next year.
yeah, we're already putting cafes into it. And
Yes. Yes, because the problem is
fighting over where to go in a year's time.
That's right. It's like, I don't like that cafe.
I'm like, but they've got donuts and they're so good.
And I'm like, I'm not interested in a donut.
What else?
Such a full life.
Also I have done the last 3 days of the first part of the Dye Fisher course, so the rest of the classes are next year. And I have gardened and
Beginning
I have
of
napped.
next year or same time next year?
March next year.
Oh, okay, that's quite early. Great.
Yeah. So I've got more homework to do for that, but that's fine. Napped, gardened, worked, stitched. That's what I've done the last 2 weeks, and not much of stitching.
Okay, I had a fantastic fall.
Did.
So I was leaving work and I'd psyched myself up because I was going to a professional networking opportunity. That is pretty much my idea of hell. But I do think that in my position at work, it's important that I go to these things. So I had psyched myself up for about 4 weeks. I can do this. I will do this. I was going with someone in my team who's very extroverted and very happy to be thrust into the limelight and talk to people she doesn't know. Anyway, we were walking fast, and 1 minute I was standing, and next minute I was on the floor, having twisted my ankle. So that was a bit dramatic. Although incredibly, I got up and I was like, oh, it's fine. We went to the thing. I networked. Nobody would have known I was dying inside.
Aww.
But yeah, it was successful. And then Martin picked me up because, of course, he knew half the people in the room. So he came and chatted a little bit, and then we went to the car. And then I sat down, and then it started to hurt. So I've been taking it easy a little bit, working from home a bit more than usual, just to rest it. So that's the thing that happened. The other thing that has happened is that my young girl, I'm not calling her baby anymore because I'm not allowed to do that apparently, because she's 20. She has now gone to Stewart Island for her sort of summer job. So she's gone for just over 3 weeks, and she'll be back the day before we go to Peru.
So if you're only vaguely familiar with New Zealand, New Zealand is made up of 3 main islands. There's the one at the top,
Called the North Island.
the North Island.
Helpfully.
There's the one at in the middle, I suppose, big long one, and that's the South Island. That's where Catherine and I are located. And then down the bottom, there's a teeny little one, and that's Stewart Island.
Yes. And it doesn't have many people. There's a few people that live there permanently, but a lot of people have second homes there. A lot of people. There isn't a lot of houses. But it's a lovely place. It's a good place to go walking or tramping.
I think you can walk the whole perimeter of it in a day or so, can't you?
I don't think so.
Okay, then.
I don't think you can do the whole perimeter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can do the
There are some walks that you can do in a day, but also there is this sort of place, I think as well, where they helicopter you to a place to then do a walk. People go hunting there as well. Because it's kind of, they get dropped off to do like wild pig or sort of wild goat, I think, hunting. Because it's they're trying to keep it pest free.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's really lovely. So she's having a jolly adventure. She's been there the last 2 years, so she knows the ropes. She loves it there. It's a quiet place. So yeah, so we've done that.
Excuse me.
I have done a teensy bit of shopping since she left because I was like, for some reason, felt like treating myself. So I'll show you that because I got very excited about
Excellent.
that Japanese woman that I had mentioned a few episodes ago.
The name escapes.
Yeah, so I'd already talked about this woman. So when the books arrive, and they're being DHL'd, they're coming from Japan via DHL, and the delivery wasn't astronomical, so I'm quite surprised. They should be here tomorrow.
Exciting.
So when they arrive, I will show you the books, but these are kind of, you would very loosely call them patterns. It's kind of like recipes for making clothes, and there's kind of very plain, sort of folk dressing.
Cool.
So like vintage style Japanese workers' trousers and that sort of thing. But anyway, it's really her aesthetic and her way of life that I loved. So yes, I've been doing that. Yeah, I've just been relaxing actually. I've slept a lot, rested a lot, so and not crafted a lot. So after the last video, I thought, okay, everything I've talked about is going into the basket, and the things I didn't talk about will stay by my bed because I'll work on those. Which meant that I kind of avoided them.
Because obviously they're not, I get that.
I avoided them until sort of, I did one and then I avoided everything until today, and I made a bit of progress today at lunchtime. But anyway, fun times. I did do other things, as one does. So anyway, do you have any fully finished objects?
No.
No fully finished objects. I don't have any fully finished objects, but I do have a finished object.
Catherine pulled, you should do that. You can tell them what I said when you pulled it out.
Oh, yes. So rude. So anyway, so this project is called, I'll take it out of the cover because it's very pretty. I'm trying to think. Rose Cottage sampler Pinkeep. Isn't this the prettiest thing? And part of it is the aesthetic of the colours. They're kind of grubby and old looking. So very beautiful. I really like it. I do like Stacey Nash primitives. I have so many favorited in my Etsy page. It's ridiculous. But of course I ruined the whole look and feel of it because I changed all the colours. So I chose to use. So anyway, I'll show you what I've done. So I have finished my Pinkeep.
Well, no,
and
it's not finished.
I'm doing my bit. Tell her not to interrupt. I think I dyed this with avocado. That was the first lot of dyeing that I did ages ago on linen. So very happy with the choice of fabric. And then the back is some secondhand fabric from Stitch Kitchen, who, as you know, I really like as a shop. They divert things from landfill, so I'm all for that. And I enjoy secondhand shopping in a way that I will never enjoy first-hand shopping. I find first-hand shopping really painful. It's like so boring.
It's alright, I'll do your share of first-hand shopping.
But second-hand shopping is like a hunt. It's like, what good stuff will I find? Anyway, I have finished it. I am very happy with it.
Well
you
done.
will notice, I was obsessed with this.
The ducks are my favourite.
So it's
or turkeys.
What do you call it? What do you call it? Full coverage. I think I need to do a full coverage project, but I kind of want to stop buying patterns. I want to just do my own thing. What a surprise. Yeah. But things that happened. So Victoria said, she's so rude.
She pulled it out.
I pulled it out and she said, I'm disappointed in you. You didn't finish it.
I was expecting a fully finished object from
It's
you
because
today.
she doesn't go on Instagram and she hasn't seen that it's not fully finished.
But I went on Instagram and I saw that you had finished the stitching. I'm like, that was 2 or 3 days ago, and you must say normally you would have finished it by now.
I think I posted this.
Yeah.
And I said that I didn't have any filling.
Oh, I don't ever read what you write because that involves opening your post.
Yeah, it involves opening my post. It involves passing the bits in Spanish because she's being Spanishist.
Well, I don't mean to be Spanishist.
Anyway, I don't know. I was going to give her my pattern. I was going to do... Because when this was bought, we had a bit of a thing with Victoria because we talked about it and I was going to buy it. And then we go to the shop and she buys it and I was like... So anyway, she was very courteous and she said, I didn't realise, I'd totally forgotten. I got carried away, so you can have it. And I bought something else for Victoria. So we were even.
Yeah.
And I said, it actually doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm just going to give it back to you. So, because that's what I do. Because we actually do have similar taste for some things.
It's so beautiful.
So if you can hold this one up, I can talk about things that went wrong.
Just to be a good stitchy friend, this is stunning. And it is beautiful.
I forgive you and I will give you the pattern. Even if you don't mean it, I don't care.
I do mean it.
Okay, so bring it a bit nearer. Okay, you'll see that there's 1 line and 2 lines, okay? And here there's 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. So I don't know who was in charge of counting, but there was not enough between here and there to complete everything here. So that meant that there was not going to be room for one whole line. And the biggest line was the alphabet, which is in effect 2 lines without division. So what I decided to do,
I actually really love this shape.
I think the shape would have worked the same. I think it would have been the
square.
same.
I love the rectangular.
I think it's quite rectangular. Yeah, anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is rectangular.
Yeah, but I think it's quite, yours will be quite rectangular as well.
Oh, okay.
When you do it properly.
We'll see.
So what I did, I decided to just have fun with this. And as you know, I like it when my different crafts sort of converge. So the things I kept from here was the basket and this thing here, which no, I didn't change it. Yeah, this thing. I may have changed a little bit. But then I thought, oh, put things you enjoy. So I put my initials and the year. And then I like little heart. That seemed like a good thing in the middle. I love a key. And these are from the buttons that I did. I had the key, the little bird, and this little symbol.
Close so you can see.
And then the numbers I did as close to I can to me being able to follow instructions. And then I was just looking for quilty designs quilty designs from my head, because I couldn't be bothered to get up and look at my book. But then so then I was trying to make it square, but then I miscounted, so it wasn't square. And then I was like, I try and make it different, but then I miscounted and I made it longer. And then I was like, just keep it as a theme, Catherine. So I made this one even longer. What's the last thing? And then a little heart. I like the heart because it's kind of like
oh, it's very pretty.
It's a different sort of pattern thing. Look at my creativity. It's almost like an inverse stare.
Look at the camera focusing on our foreheads and not the stitching.
Anyway, I love my quirky design.
It's gorgeous.
And it's got some really lovely things. Like, I love the vases. And the weird dogs, they're brilliant.
Weird dogs are awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're on the fence about this, definitely you should do it. And I am doing it as a pin cushion with a monster-sized pin cushion.
So this is Stacey Nash Primitives Rose Cottage Garden.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's not. Rose Cottage Sampler Pinkeep.
Yeah.
As you had already said.
It's very beautiful. So now you can keep that. That is yours.
Yay.
And I will forget about your mean comment.
Aww.
And I'm very competitive. So next fortnight, I'm coming with 8 things finished. I'll be like, see, Victoria, who's the loser now?
Me? How many unfinished things do I have?
Oh, I don't know.
It's always me.
Who's counting? Anyway, ta-da! That's it. I will bring it as a fully finished because I think it will look ridiculous as a pin keep. So I'm definitely doing that.
Excellent. Right. So you all probably know what I've worked on. So this is the Northern Expressions Needlework Twisted Band Sampler. Now we have our final stitch along evening get together next Tuesday, and we will be covering off the last couple of bands in there because it's November and everyone gets busy, so we thought we'll just do two months worth in one and finish it up for the year.
And what are you starting after? Because I'm sure you've signed up for the next thing.
So the next thing is a primitive. Oh, who is it?
But there is something.
There is something.
Okay,
so
cool.
you may recall a pattern that I finished earlier in the year, that one up there with the house and the pumpkin in it. There is a series of 12 or 14, and you can do them either each as individual panels or as one large piece. And I think they're looking to do that next year.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, because I want to keep going.
But
It's only the one panel, but I really enjoy the evening and the people and
no,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, but would you do the 12 again, including this one, or would you just do them individually?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. So, this is me still being behind from last month without the green roses finished, but I have got a little bit further. And so this month's one that I'm supposed to have finished by next Tuesday is this band here and this band here. Bearing in mind that there is another colour change, that band will actually be about that wide. So I've got quite a bit to do between now and next Tuesday. But I'm loving how this is looking the more it gets done. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And this has got it's got a rice stitch in there and a scented buttonhole stitch. I can't remember what it is. It's not buttonhole. Some other stitch. Sorry, here's me flapping it about. Can we get it to focus? There we go. eyelet stitch. It's a diamond eyelet stitch. That's what it's called. And then just normal old cross stitch. But well, that's coming along. Needs a wash and an iron. There's quite a bit of chocolate on this.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about my art class.
Oh, how'd your art class go?
I am the naughty kid.
But you did your homework. I'd seen your homework.
I did do no homework, but I'm becoming quite bratty in class.
You being stroppy because they want you to colour within the lines.
Yeah. Yeah, there are rules. I'm becoming quite... And the teacher said... He said something like, I know exactly what I'm dealing with here. But then, when I did the homework, I don't know. I'm not used to homework. They give you the homework. I haven't been looking back to see what we did in class to remember what the homework's about. So I'm just doing the homework from what my brain remembers. So I got it wrong.
Ooh. But you'd done pages and pages.
Yeah, but I did this particular thing. I did it wrong. And so he said, oh, how did you do that? And I said, oh, I did it by doing this method. And he said, oh, yeah, that wasn't really the homework. So I was a bit contrite. I was like, oh, bad Catherine. But then he went to the front of the class and he was like, I'm actually quite delighted that some of you, well, Catherine, completed the homework in this other way, which is correct, but not what I thought that you would do. So I want you all to do that as well. I was like, don't do that, because I'm not going to learn any lessons. I'm still going to be naughty.
You're going to have to go back and do it how everyone else did it.
No, we did. We did it in class. We did both ways. But I was like, no, don't give me any leash. I'm just going to continue to be like the bratish student. So
nice.
Anyway, what else? Oh yes, I worked on this because I wasn't allowed to grab any of the projects in my basket. Oh my god, my studio base is ready. Just the base, my foundation. So
straddling the river?
It's yeah, kinda. Not quite straddling, but yeah.
Over a bit.
Yeah. Which gives me more garden, which is going to be great. My studio should be finished this week, at the end of next week. Which in builder's terms probably means another week and a half after.
Well, yeah, but potentially it means it'll be in before you go.
I think
which will be
it'll be
cross
huge.
that item out off your list.
It'll be huge.
Oh, you've worked on this one.
I have worked on this one.
It's been a while, people.
Okay, so, pardon me. I'm having ginger beer. I do apologise, and we're not going to edit. Sorry. What would my mum think? She would be mortified. Okay, so for people that haven't watched in ages, this is a sampler that I am doing, which is based on things that I love and I care about and are part of my life in New Zealand. So this crow is called Quaker Crow, and I think this was the first project that we did with the Flosstube.
Yeah.
And I loved the crow, but then I was like, what am I going to do with a crow? So I was like, oh, I know, I'll do a sampler. So I've incorporated it into the sampler. And there's still the question about whether I convert it into a tui.
I reckon you do.
Because it would be a very new... So a tui is a New Zealand bird. It's also called... like a word for a priest.
Vicar?
Parson bird. Because it looks like it's got a collar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful, glossy, sort of oily, bluey black
Yes.
feathers with a white cravat almost.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it. I mean, will I ever be able to find the green? Don't know. Anyway, so this flower is called a kofi, and kofi is a Te Reo Maori word that means yellow. So this is a beautiful plant, and tui come to kofi to drink the nectar. So anyway, this is my creation so far, and then where we live, well, now and before we both lived in Port, but my new house in Waikouiti, it's all by the water, it's all by the sea, and so we have a section of by the sea, that is the peninsula, and this little library is a little old library called Pukehiki Library. Yes, can you see it? Does that show, Victoria?
Yes. I'm not sure if you can read it, but you can.
So Pukehiki Library is actually a library that probably started in 18 something. It has a collection of books in it, old books, but I don't think it's part of the public library system. It's just a little independent relic of a library, really. But it's the most gorgeous little building like this, and I love a wooden building. So I wanted to sort of have an image of that, because I love these little wooden buildings. And then what I completed today at lunch was this fern. So I've seen a few samplers where you have a house with a ridiculous tree above it, or like a ridiculous flower, and it is ridiculous because like it's too big.
Well, look at the this one. Look, that's your house, and then that's your pot plant. Scale is not at all important.
Yeah, scale's not the thing, but I particularly like it when you have a tree that does it, and it's like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but it's lovely. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do that with a fern. So this fern represents the New Zealand silver fern. So if you don't live you're in New Zealand, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not from New Zealand,
you've probably seen a New Zealand sporting team.
In the sporting teams will have a little fern, but it's silver coloured, because the underside of this fern is kind of silvery. And I've read in the past that Maori would flick the fern bottom up, as it were, as they walked past, because then with the moon they'd be able to see the reflection of that. So it kind of helped guide them way back. So anyway, I really like my ridiculous fern now. And so I had stopped because I wasn't quite sure how to deal with the curve, but I'm really happy with how I did it. And I'm really happy with the bottom bit, because it's kind of like tilted. And then I thought, well, you're just going to go slowly because I'm making this up. So I just need to kind of do a thing and then see if I'm happy with it. The next step is I'm going to do a little fern here that is face up, and it's going to be silver. So it's going to be the underside of the fern. Yeah. So I'm really happy that I picked this up again. And I don't understand why I don't pick it up more often. But I think it's because it's not mindless, because I have to think about what I need to do.
Yeah, so in case it wasn't clear, the bird is a pattern that you had purchased. Everything else, the configuration and the layout and the design of it is from your brain.
Yeah, so sometimes it's just not restful, and you overthink things. So anyway, the fabric is beautiful. It's from number 12 Stitch Co, and it's called Silvery Moon. So, but of course, because I'm becoming more familiar with modern samplers and reproduction samplers and the things I like about them. One of the things I really like is when you get a body of water or a mountain, which is grassy and it's got animals in it. So I think that's what I'm going to do at the bottom. I'm going to do a sort of hill.
Nice.
A hill here with probably lots of sheep, because it's New Zealand. But I am going to incorporate a lot of seabirds, because we're by the coast. We have lots of beautiful seabirds, which I love. So yeah, I'm making progress with this. I'm really happy about it.
Excellent. I'm so pleased to see it come out of the back
the
of the
bottom
basket.
of the basket, yeah.
So the second piece that I worked on, and I must admit this is only during class hours. Oh, where did that come from?
I lied. I'm going to eat chocolate now.
That's right, you go for it. Is this Die Fisher band sampler. So the classes that I've been to, and I'll show you how much further we got. So, I didn't finish any item on this band when we were working on it in class, but that will eventually be a strawberry. That's just some waist knots. That's part of a leaf. That's a berry.
So
I've got the thing upside down. There we go.
Were you learning the stitches?
We were learning the stitches, yeah. And this is a berry with a detached buttonhole stitch. But I've munched it on one side, so that's going to have to be cut out. And
what stitch is this with the leaf?
The leaf, that is just a satin, like a painted stitch. It's where you've...
Long and short.
Long and short, that's it, thank you. And that is queen stitch for the start of the strawberry. And then, what have we got down here? That there is, I think that's supposed to be a rose. Look at the bird! How gorgeous is the bird?
It looks pretty even from the back.
And how gorgeous is this? It is a... What's the thing that Persephone ate? Pomegranate. I think it's a pomegranate. Border that goes right across. Oh, you can't tell. There's like a chain stitch along, not a chain stitch. There's stitching that looks like a chain in the yellow there, but I'm actually going to change that yellow colour. It's too light. It is back stitch. And it's also, the class is amazing. I can't wait till next year.
Are you keeping in touch with the group?
I'm hoping that we're going to have some get-togethers, like on the odd Sunday, and do some stitching. I have got, for the people in Dunedin anyway, there were people from all over Aotearoa coming to do this. So I've got prep work to do.
Right, because you had people from the North Island as well.
People from North Island, yep. So I've got prep work up here to do for next year's classes, which I will do before I go back and try and complete down here. Because I'm me, I want to get
good student.
I want to get the prep work done, and then I want to get all of this finished so that when I turn up next year for the next classes, all I'll have to do is finishing
You're all shiny.
this. But bearing in mind that I also have to do my home sweet home stitching, I've got to get that out and going. So
Should we place bets?
watch this space. I will get home sweet home finished before the construction class, of which we do not have a date, but will be early. The first half of next year, but probably the later bit of the first half.
Well,
So
let's hope you get
April,
enough
May.
notice, Victoria.
Yep, and I don't know, how much do I really want to redo my laundry over Christmas, and how much do I just want to stitch?
Oh my God, we're doing your laundry. It won't take you that long.
I know.
I saw a thing on Pinterest. It was so cute. Someone had used a doll's house that obviously they didn't need as a doll's house anymore, and they used it as a cabinet.
Gorgeous.
It was so cute, and it was in a bathroom, and they had toilet paper and stuff like hidden in the rooms. It was so amazing.
That's so cute.
Literally, it's going to take you 2 days to do your laundry, so it doesn't have to
Oh,
be
you know,
either
I've got
or.
painting and tiling, and I've got quite a bit of woodwork I want to sand back and repoly. It's a week in it, I think. But not full days. We'll see. Anyway, this is the
But your
progress I've
fingers will be
made.
munted.
My fingers will be munted. All I want to do is stitch. I don't want to have to do stupid work anymore. Oh, bring on retirement. And that was me.
You're a bit premature for
I
your
was
time.
left exhausted from the 6 days of intensive stitching classes.
I'm
and
not surprised.
the weekend after, so the weekend it's just been, I had big naps both Saturday and Sunday. And I had to get out in the garden and pull some weeds and mow the lawns, so not a lot of stitching happened. But it's also only,
intense.
it's only been 10 days since our last video, because we filmed on a Saturday.
Nobody's going to judge us. It's okay.
That's alright. We're still managing to fill the time in.
Yes. The thing is, right, you had intense, like, workshop days, and then you didn't take any time off to recover. You went straight back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't recommend. The smart people had taken 2 weeks off work to do that course.
Oh, really? 2
Like-
weeks is a lot.
It is a lot. But if you're travelling from this North Island,
Also, a lot of them were retired, as you said.
some of them, yeah. Yeah.
A different life.
Anyway.
Okay, so let's show
Yes, so
these.
that is the huge amount of cross stitching that we've been doing in the last.
I was thinking of changing the name of my Spanish Flosstube anyway, to call it Catherine's Crafts.
Nice. What do you call it at the moment?
It's called Flosstube in Spanish,
Ah,
but I can do what I want.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't have to compromise on the Spanish one because it's just me.
Yeah.
Me
Do what you want.
Me talking to like very few viewers, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think we've got to keep Flosstube in our title simply because it's a search
It's a
keyword.
thing. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
But as you know, it would cover a lot of things.
Yeah, we forgot to show when we were showing the gifts that Margarita sent us.
Look at these
Didn't
needle
include
minders.
And if you've been with us for ages, you will know about this needle,
This image.
the bookmark, because Margarita has sent us a parcel ages ago with this beautiful postcard, and I didn't share.
No, Karen was like, you can't have this. And I was like, really? Because I want it.
And I said, nah, it's beautiful, and it arrived in my house, so I'm keeping it.
Yeah. And then she sent, Margarita, you've been very generous. Thank you very, very much. She sent a second parcel with another postcard in it for me.
Yes, because she was horrified at Catherine's selfishness.
Yeah. And then she sent us bookmarks.
Yeah.
Which is great
With,
because Catherine and I are both readers. I read a lot of trash, which is why I don't share my books.
I read high literature.
Yeah. I read vampire porn.
I'm aspirational reader. I finished my patchwork book. I put it in the...
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know what Martin's done with it because I'm regifting it, but I don't know that you want to read.
No, the one I was interested in was the
Queen
Queen
Mary.
one.
Yeah, I haven't started that one yet. But yeah, it's got needle minders as well.
Oh yeah, did we? Kiwi rainbow.
I love the postcard.
I can see a rainbow.
So yeah, so that was that.
You had other mail
I got another parcel. I'm going to show you because I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
Because it's my chance to be sentimental.
You haven't even shown me what you got.
No, I haven't. I just arrived and can I just say I am embarrassed because I don't seem to be able to get myself together enough to put a nice postcard or card in people's letters. Literally, a little note from a pad in my office is what people get.
You're better. I don't even add notes.
I'm just the worst.
I'm dyslexic and I hate writing, so often there's no cards. You'll be very lucky if your name's on the outside of the parcel.
Oh. No, I'm in my head, I'm someone that will will do a beautiful card with a beautiful message, and then I'll go to my garden and I'll get some lavender out and I'll put that in there. It's all very beautiful in my head. In real life, I work full time and I'm knackered. That's my excuse. Anyway, isn't this gorgeous? Margarita's a good postcard shopper.
Well,
Look,
it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
It's quite beautiful. It's like
I love the bird. Are they birds on it?
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Is that Matilda Gros? Don't know. Anyway, she sent me a lovely card. But anyway, she sent me, and this New Zealand Post. It didn't get lost, but this was sent in May. And it arrived...
It arrived the day after we filmed.
It arrived the day after my fall. So Martin came home with a parcel. And I was just so happy. I got a parcel. Any day is improved by a parcel. Anyway, look at this. So people that knit will know about Retrosaria Rosa Pomar. And because I know Paula, I know that Retrosaria means haberdashery.
Nice.
Yes. So this is haberdashery Rosa Pomar. So she's quite famous now in knitting world because she's been quite instrumental in reinvigorating the yarn business in Portugal, like creating business opportunities for farmers of unique breeds. So not just your average merino, but just very unique breeds to Portugal. So really beautiful. I've got some of her yarn that my sister bought me because she lives in Europe. I'd love to go to her shop one day. But anyway, this is a very lovely book. It tells you some of the history of Portuguese knitting. It's got knitting needles, traditional ones, and other accoutrements. What is this? The lovely thing is that this is a Spanish translation, so that's really great. I don't really have... This might be my only Spanish book for knitting.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, so that's really lovely. But the really lovely thing is, of course,
Did she write something in the cover?
No. I like a dedication in books, but people are respectful of that, I suppose. But I want to show you a couple of things because, I don't know, if you're a viewer that doesn't live in the country you were born in and you're about my age, I'm 50, are you getting super sentimental about your home country? Because I am. It's so funny. It's my home country. It's part of my heritage. This is my hubby's voice. It's like any excuse for it. It's my heritage, my home country. I can't find the hat that I wanted to show you. Let me just...
These are beautiful.
Oh, they are very lovely.
She's flipping through the book. I'm having a nosy.
Yeah, I'm looking through the book because I wanted to show you the hat. There's a hat and another thing. You just have to bear with me. Victoria, talk about the weather.
The weather has been surprisingly nice. I think Dunedin has had both its days of summer this year. So, it was rain to come.
It was quite great. Look at the spindles. Portuguese spindles. Very exciting. I may have shopped for spindles.
What was I was trolling
Oh, that was on your
through...
mum's dollar.
Oh, was it? Nice. I was trolling through, maybe it was Instagram or someone shared a photo, I can't remember. But someone had been, I think, 3D printing spindles. I knew what they were.
Oh no, yeah, I've seen them. Yeah.
I knew what they were because I knew what yours looked like. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of 3D printing in the knitty, makey, spinny community. Okay, I'll show you the one that I can find. I can't find the other one. So this is a little bag with it's a little bag. But if you're from Peru, you look at that bag and you think that is not a million miles away from little bags that are produced by the indigenous people of Peru now.
Wow.
And that just makes me very excited because I know that there was a lot of cross-pollination between the Spanish and the indigenous people of Peru when we got colonized. But I'd never felt, I felt it was very Spanish colonization, which meant that a lot of Arabic stuff came through as well because the Spanish had been colonized by the Arabs. Is that something that you say, the Arabs?
I think that's, yeah.
Is that?
I think so. Apologies if it's not.
Yeah.
Let us know.
I'm doing mental translations as I tell you this. But I'd never felt that there was anything to do with the Portuguese. And of course, you know, Portugal had kingdoms and Spain had kingdoms, and it looked very different in the 1500s, which is when, or 1600s, which is when Peru got colonized. Sorry, I've got a tickle.
You want another drink?
Yeah, we'll have another one in a minute. Yeah, and that's why it's so. I mean, the pom-poms. I mean, just go to Peru. Like, go to the highlands. Loads of things with pom-poms. So that was really lovely. And there's also a hat that I can't find. A hat with ears. So there was a very, very, very traditional Peruvian hat from the highlands, which is with ear flaps. So that makes me excited. They've got a very basic one here. But I'd seen that was very colourful and with different stitches and stuff. Anyway, it's very beautiful. So I love increasing my knowledge around this. And the other thing that I really love is that I'm learning terminology that I don't necessarily know in Spanish. The whole, you know, pattern writing and terminology of knitting in Spanish is not as developed as in English. And lots of knitters in Spanish will say that it's really easy to follow a knitting pattern in English. It's much harder in Spanish because we don't seem to have standardized terminology yet. So each country will have its own variation of words and stuff. So yeah, this is very helpful. So thank you so much. It's a super lovely gift. It obviously didn't arrive on my birthday. It made me very happy the other day. And then I also got, and this was the bit that just, it was so cute. Lots of fabrics.
Wow.
From projects that Margarita had started. So I think that's the coolest thing. So I will be using these. I can't show you everything, but there are some triangles. All hand stitched, and you all know that all my quilting is hand stitched. I do all my piecing by hand. Well, I've got a PSA about that actually. So lots of sort of vintagey colours. It's very cool.
Gorgeous. These are your fabrics too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll pull it out of the bag. Look how gorgeous that is. I'm loving this one with the, I want to call them poppies, but maybe they aren't. Maybe they aren't.
Florals anyway.
Florals. They're a flower.
Florals and gingham. I
And
mean,
gingham.
you
Love
can't go
gingham.
wrong, right? And then look at this vintage beauty. Isn't that cute? So I just love making things where I think nobody will have this because mostly it's secondhand. So I'm not buying a pack of anything. So even if people found the same shirt that I bought, they're going to put it together with other fabrics, so nobody will have exactly what I have. And then these, which she must have used for a project. And these are the leftover strips, as it were. They're super cute.
Cute.
Like polka dots with a kind of grey background, blue-grey background.
Baby blue.
Yeah. And then these. Oh, that's better.
Do I need to turn that light down a bit?
It's very good. Anyway, it amuses me. Great clean nails, Catherine. Fabulous. I am a gardener too. I'll use that as my excuse. Anyway, I love that these won't go to waste and that someone that lives on the other side of the world shared them with me. But I'm also very amused by the fact that this actually makes me very happy. So very happy. Thank you so much. It really brightened my day. And if you knew me in real person, you would know that I'm the biggest cow as far as accepting gifts is concerned. I am obnoxious.
She is. She complains about it constantly.
Yes, I am quite obnoxious. Sorry, I just am. I just find it really difficult, and it's mostly linked to people buying new things. But you know, what are the odds of someone across the world absolutely understanding what it is that I love?
Yeah, it's you to a T.
I know, right? So yay, thank you. I shall be using this on my next projects. So that was that. I wanted to
You
show
show
that.
your shopping.
Oh yeah, so I have increased my pantry. I'm actually kidding myself. I can't see a thing. Let me put my glasses on. Okay, so I was telling you that I bought some organic sewing cotton. This is called Fiber Active Organics, and the company is called So Pure, and 500 meters, and I think with postage it cost me $20, which is kind of good going in New Zealand, I reckon. And it makes me laugh because I was like, yay, around, I put it in a bag. Victoria was like, oh, it's quite soft.
It's
I quite like it. And
beautifully
it's quite
soft.
smooth. I was like, I don't shop like that. I'm like, oh, organic, great. But she's done quality control for me and she approves.
Yeah, no, it's a nice thick, it's nice consistent thread weight, and it feels strong, and it's super smooth. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So they had other colours.
I really like that. It's quite a sort of calico.
Yeah, and this is what I like. I use this for all my hand piecing. Just plain.
Eggshell off-white.
Yeah, I don't have to. And people always say, oh, try and use, if you use grey, you won't see it with any colours. Like, I actually don't mind if people see my stitching. I think that's okay. It's hand stitched. You can see it. It's fine. So I shopped that.
What else have you been working on?
I'll show you my knitting project. So I cast on a new shawl. So I had shown you I had shown you the yarn last time, and because my family were being uninterested, and so my initial plan had been to do this honey color all the way to the bottom, and then the blue at the very bottom, like at the edge. But I've since decided I've used one skein of the honey, then I'm doing a skein of this blue, and then it'll be 2 more skeins of the honey.
Nice. So
turmeric,
blue
what they
strop
call it.
in the top.
Yeah, because I'm doing this pattern is called Old Shale or Feather and Fan. It's a very old stitch. They use it a lot in Shetland shawls. And it's a very, very straightforward, very simple pattern. So I thought, oh, that will look nice in the blue in the middle of the shawl. And the shawl construction, you can't see it, but it's such that it will rest like this. So normally shawls, you have to kind of pull them, and they're just a triangle, but this is actually 3/4 of a square. So this side will fall here, and the other side will fall here. And it's actually a great design because it doesn't fall off your shoulders.
Do you want me to get the...
It's the other way, right? Okay, so I'm really happy. It's quite hard work because the needles are quite large.
They are large.
I wanted it quite drapey. This is probably a 10 ply. Not quite an Aran, but worsted. I think that's what you would call it in America. Worsted. I can't say it now. Worsted thickness. So I did want it to be not stiff, and so it's quite hard on your hands to use such big needles. This is 5.5 millimeter. Oh, have I done that wrong? Have I got 1 5 and 1 5.5? That'll be hilarious. Oh, I have. One is a 5 and one's a 5.5. Brilliant. Whatever. It'll hardly make a difference. Ah, funny. Look. One is significantly fatter. Come to me for knitting advice. Anyway, very happy with this. I'm trying to pace myself.
Because you can whip through those so quick.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. This was like I didn't have to think doing this. So of course I resorted to it. Because if you're tired, you don't want to think. So anyway, but good progress. Just 2 more things to show you. Oh, just to say, another thing that I finished. apart from the ironing, because we live in a house that's not connected to the grid. So it was like, I was cooking this evening and I thought, oh, I could iron, but I can't iron because I'm cooking. And we were charging the car as well. So I was like, I can do 2 things, but I can't do 3.
That's the best excuse not to do ironing I've ever heard.
Oh no, but this is only craft ironing. I don't do like mainstream world ironing. Good Lord, no. So anyway, you can help me display. So this is this is now the quilting segment. So I'm doing half square triangles. And generally speaking, it's a floral piece with something that could pass and may well be shirting. So men's shirts. Not always, but I would say 90% of the fabric is something that is either from a man's shirt or could pass as a man's shirt. So I think maybe at the weekend, I'm making a wee tower, Victoria.
Yep.
I think maybe at the weekend I actually laid them out on the bed just to make sure I didn't want to make more squares than I needed.
This is quite a tower.
Yeah. And so this is the little patch that I haven't ironed. But that is all of them.
And that covers your whole bed?
Yeah.
Because you're a queen size bed now.
We're
aren't
a
you?
queen and it's not too much of a drop. And I might put a little border on the edge.
Yeah.
So I'm very
Beautiful.
happy with that. Yeah. We have to kind of drop it without dropping it all. So loads of progress in this. I'm really happy with it. And again, this is a very... I have become a little bit naughty at work. God, I'm the worst. I had a couple of meetings today, so I was embroidering through the meetings because they were on Zoom. And there was a lovely project manager who figured me out very quickly. So whenever we're in any Zoom meeting now, which is at least once a week, she's like, what are you working on today? And sometimes we meet just the 2 of us. Mostly it's in a group, but sometimes we have to meet just the 2 of us. And she'll be like, show me what you're going to work on today whilst we meet. And she knows I can concentrate. In fact, I do concentrate more if I'm embroidering or knitting or something like that. So that's that. Can I make progress on this? I'm about to post it on Instagram. I didn't get around to it. This is the other quilt that I'm working on, which is almost at the joining stage. So this is Flying Geese. And this is plain background with something that is patterned in some flowery way, because I'm all about the little flowers. And today, because I was at home, I was able to lay out, I think I've made too many, which is not bad, because there's a couple that I'm not sure of. There's a couple with white backgrounds, and sometimes having a white background is quite good to kind of rest the eye, but at the same time I'm not sure if it's just too much of a contrast, so it means that I can play around now.
Yeah, you've got options.
But yeah, so I'm almost at the stage of joining them together now, so it'll be a bit harder to show, but I just wanted to
That's exciting.
kind of keep you up to date. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this project, and I'm trying to be a good person. I'm cutting. I'm now at the point where I'm cutting all the little corners that stick out. I'm cutting these, and then I'm flipping it, and I'm cutting like these, and also if they overlap, I'm cutting it straight, so that when you display it like this, a dark color won't show over the side. Yeah, the sides will also help.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and if you're interested in making this is a very traditional pattern. It's called Flying Geese. And I made 4 at a time. So you can Google how to make a flying geese, and they do 2 at a time. Well, the old-fashioned way was to do 1 at a time, but that's time consuming. More time consuming than it needs to be. Now they figured out how to do 2 at a time, 4 at a time, 8 at a time. And I've done 4 at a time.
Nice.
Because I do, in case it's not obvious, I don't want them to look perfect. Can you see here? I've lost a point. I like that because you really can see the human hand. Oh my God, I haven't told them about my quote in the embroidery show that I was so giddy about.
I don't know if you've told me about the quote.
I went on about it. Of course I did. I found that quote about perfection.
Oh, yes.
So in case it's not obvious from this channel, I don't really like perfection. So yeah.
What was
Look
the
it up.
quote? Do you remember
took
it?
a photo. I took a photo because I was so giddy with excitement. Let me look it up because it was by someone famous. Ooh, I want to make a pineapple quilt next.
In my head, that is a quilt covered in pineapples. I like pineapple.
Yeah, it's quite a traditional quilt, and it is funny because I really like the block, but I've now seen it in really good contrast, and it's actually joining the blocks that creates a pineapple in the middle of those blocks. It's not the actual individual blocks. So that was interesting to me. I was like, oh, I had not realised. Sorry, I went to my house.
How many photos do you take in a 2-week period?
It's because I went to the house and I took photos of every bit of my garden in Port because I didn't want to forget it. Oh no!
No, you can't. No.
Okay, here is the quote that made me so giddy with excitement, and this was in the Embroiderers Guild show. Perfection has one big defect. It is apt to be dull. By Somerset Maugham, who was an English writer. I believe he was English. Might have been Welsh. British writer. Perfection has one big defect. It is apt to be dull.
Beautiful. You should stitch that on something.
I thought about stitching it because the person had it with beautiful flowers, but it was kind of drawn. It wasn't an embroidery piece. It was in a work. And I thought, gosh, that kind of describes my life to a T, really, doesn't it? I kind of avoid perfection like you would not believe it. Even at
Actively
work.
going out of your way.
Yeah. Even like breaking things to make sure they're not perfect. Even at work, I'm an 80-20. Like aim for 80%. Perfection just I believe, slows you down. But in my creative spaces, I like non-perfection. Anyway, Victoria was very patient with me. Because Victoria does like perfection.
Yeah, I like following the rules. Doing as I'm told. It's quite boring.
I don't know. I think it's a circuitry thing in our brains. It makes me comfortable to see things that are imperfect. Whatever. Anyway, so yes,
That's it.
that's my quilt. Look it up if you're interested. I am going to try and do a separate quilting segment
Excellent.
at some point in my life when I have time and energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Plans.
I really want to keep my personalized sampler in the rotation, but I'm kind of planning to go through everything each time.
Yeah.
And of course, do we have 1 or 2 more before I go on holiday?
I possibly 2, but I suspect might just be 1 because it's getting to that silly season. I've got evenings filling up fast, so
I love how you
I
say
have 2
that.
things
You have 2
organised.
things.
It's way too much for me.
Too much social stuff.
No, but you're away early December, aren't you? And today is the 10th. So 10 plus 14 is 24th. So just 1.
Yeah, just 1. So we just have 1 more video and then I'll be on holiday. And my weeks are filling up fast. I have 1 event. I had 2, but they're both on the same night. So I promised hubby that I was going to go to his work too.
Oh.
Which is just daft. I hate it. Anyway, he works with curators and conservators and stuff, museum people. So I'm like, yeah, I'll come to that. That'll be cool.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. We'll be here in a fortnight anyway.
Yeah.
I just want to continue with all the 28 projects that I have on the go.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah. What about
Sounds
you?
reasonable. So I want to get the Twisted Band sampler done. So
In a fortnight?
I want to have major progress on it. I want to just clear it off the table so that I can get onto my little house, my home sweet home. Get onto my Die Fisher. I want to get back onto all of my other cross stitches that I've got going. I've got quite a few there that I reckon I could get through reasonably quickly. Look, I've had Coke tonight, can you tell? It's quite a bit of sugar. I'm hoping that I'm going to a friend's house to do some stitching in the weekend, but I don't know. I've got to confirm that that's still going.
Yes.
And
I am the friend.
That's probably it. Stitching, work, sleep. Oh, watching The Crown.
Watching The Crown.
The Crown.
Watching The Crown.
You're so lucky that we're here tonight and not watching The Crown.
Yeah, isn't it funny that we both got the same? Someone posted last night is everybody watching for The Crown? And I was like, oh, it must be on. But I'm in the depths of Anne of Green Gables.
Oh,
Watching it again, and so I'm
wish
really
they hadn't
loving
cancelled that.
Oh, that's right. But they have to stop at some point because then it becomes very domestic. And
Did they finish it in a good place?
I can't remember, to be
I can't
honest.
remember either. Hence asking you.
They do finish it in a good place.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like it when things finish. I like when shows have pre-warning, even if they wrap things up a bit quick. I do not like being left hanging. Looking at you, Lois and Clark.
Is that a series?
Yeah, it was a series from like the 90s.
Oh, is this a Superman thing?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
With Dean Cain and Terry.
This is why you don't like literature. You quite often don't wrap things up beautifully.
I like happy endings. Or at least solid conclusions. None of this namby-pamby, let's leave it up to the...
Yeah, that's right. What do you think as a reader?
I don't want any of that. I want to be told.
Well, I'm very excited because I was thinking, well, tonight I want to finish... See, it's interesting because I've got Anne of Green Gables to finish because somehow, even though I've already watched it, this is my second full run. I've kind of forgotten, and I've read the books, but I've kind of forgotten, and I want to rewatch it. So I've got that. Then I have The Crown, but I also have Crafting with Compassion, where I went to right to the beginning of her podcasts, and I want to watch them to the end. I've only got about 12 left to go. Oh, she had 60.
Oh, you've done well.
Yeah, I've done really well. I spend a lot of time in bed crafting.
Yeah, when we say watch, we're obviously crafting at the same time normally.
Yeah. It's good company. And really good to be encouraged by other makers that are making stuff that you want to get into making. So yeah, and hopefully by next time, my spindle... So did I talk about my spindle last time? My spindle is like a replica of Andean spindles, so very Peruvian looking. I am hoping to buy Peruvian spindles in the markets in Peru, but they're not highly polished, beautiful objects. They're very utilitarian. I'm still going to buy a set if I can. But this is beautiful. It's kind of walnut and like with a high gloss, and it's going to be quite beautiful. And I've got my 2 sewing books coming. So, and I have not cancelled my Quilt Folk subscription.
Oh,
they sent me an
what a
email.
shame.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you're going to?
I kind of feel I ought to. Kate, another shout out. Should I cancel my Quilt Folk subscription? It comes in a week. I don't really like the writing. I love the photographs. It's really the only space for quilting for me. I don't have any other places. Like, you know, when I recommended all those quilting shows, I haven't gone back to them because they don't quite hit the spot. And so Quilt Folk magazine is the one magazine that kind of feeds my soul. Half of it feeds my soul usually. And so I kind of felt like I kind of wanted to cancel because it's a lot of money. It uses up space.
Yeah, that is something you have to seriously consider now with your tiny house or your little house.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to have a little think about it. So anyway, Kate, if you have an opinion about this, let me know. Because I'm kind of a book person as well. I kind of feel like if I'm gonna, yeah, I might cancel it because if I'm gonna invest in quilting, I want to invest in like the history of quilting or like, I saw a beautiful book on pulkari, which is a type of embroidery shawl from India. So I saw all that. So yeah, maybe I'd rather buy books. I've got a lot of books, like tabs open on my computer for books that I quite fancy.
Yeah.
So maybe I will cancel it. I've got loads of magazines from Quilt Folk already.
Watch this space. We'll let you know what she decides
Yeah.
next week.
The problem is that
This is the cliffhanger.
they do it by state. This is the problem. So I'm not one for complete sets of things like you are.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I'm like, oh, what am I going to miss out on?
Can you, if you cancel it, can you then re-buy back public issue ones?
Yeah. Anyway.
Big decisions.
Yes.
So, have a great
Have a lovely
next
fortnight.
Happy stitching, happy watching.
Hope you do good crafting. Enjoy The Crown.
Hope it's great. It's really controversial.
Do you think?
Yeah, there's been, I think because of what's happening with the royal family recently with the death of the Queen, plus it's covering a period of time that a lot of people remember. So it's the whole period of, spoiler alert people, turn off now if you don't want spoilers. It's covering that time with the breakup of Diana, and I think this season might go through to her death. I don't know, don't quote me on that. So it's that time where people...
I love her intensity over it. It's like serious matter.
Well, like the really early seasons...
It's history, really.
It's
This
history,
is very recent,
and a
isn't
lot
it?
of it was that was introducing me to a lot of what had happened in that time. But this period now,
It's
I
within our
lived through.
lifetime.
It's
Yeah,
within
yeah.
my lifetime, or
Yeah.
just before my lifetime, and the women magazines have done it to death. You know.
Well, I saw that there was a Windsor fire. So.
Yes.
And it's quite cute because my sister lives in Windsor.
Oh, and it's Tilda Swinton. No.
It won't be Tilda Swinton.
No.
For goodness sakes.
Is it the one that played Professor Umbridge in Harry Potter?
Imelda Staunton.
That's the one. She's
I
great.
know something. I know she is great. I know something.
She's also in a lot of other things I've seen.
It was quite interesting when the Queen died. My sister was going on walkabouts around Windsor to have a look. It was quite living history. Quite interesting. Anyway, we're waffling. It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
We have, and we only showed like 4 cross-stitch projects. And no one of my 2 weren't fully cross-stitch. Anyway, have a great 2 weeks.
Yes. Hope we were good company and we'll see you soon.
Ka kite.